It's not an uncommon thing for people to get caught by the police and then, with their terrible understanding of how mental health works, try to be this, what's the best word for it? They take the idea of what they think somebody who's insane looks like, and they try to LARP that as a way to protecting themselves. Alrighty, this one's not going to be super long, but it is commentary on an issue that I really am tired of seeing, even in evangelical circles. This is an issue that I've been seeing as an atheist for a while. This is an issue that I probably could have identified back when I was a Christian too. Let's get to fan art and then we'll get into this. So we have here from Grass Mask said golf service plus some sketches, aka a lot of MILF service. This is adorable. This is adorable. I'm not going to be commissioning an entire order for this. But if I had the money, I'd be tempted to. I'd be very tempted to. The next one we have here is from Asgini, Judgment Set Cirrus. First ever fan art from me, plus would look better if I had coloring materials. So yeah, this is the Judgment Set from World of Warcraft Classic, or Vanilla, depending on when you played. It is the Tier 2 set for Paladins. Paladin is one of my main classes I used to play in Classic, so I greatly appreciate seeing some Paladin love there. And then we have one from Lunar Muse Serenity. They said just a quick sketch, but it is another one of their outfit variants for my character, and it looks adorable as always. As always, thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown on the stream, the best way to do so is to drop it into the fan art section of the Discord. With that said, have you guys seen this video yet? The video is important, but there's an important part here too. We're going to read the actual tweet from Benny Johnson here. He says, it's a demon-possessed human trafficker arrested at the border. Watch the demon literally try to escape. This is the evil Joe Biden is inviting into our country. We are in a battle of dark and light, good and evil. Jesus Christ be with us and hear our prayers. So give me 1 second. Let's take a look over here. Oh no, what are we about to witness? So he says that this is a Joe Biden thing. Joe Biden's the reason for this. I guess the side effect here would be, oh, well, we didn't get our wall, so human trafficking is increasing. But actually, from unodc.org, it's actually shown that COVID has had an increased effect on human trafficking results. Like, apparently COVID has actually affected human trafficking and made it to where human trafficking worsens, which is awkward. But let's go ahead and take a look here just very, very quickly. Profile of the victims, profile of the offenders. Globally, most persons prosecuted convicted of tracking in persons continue to be male, with around 64 to 62% respectively. Offenders can be members of organized crime groups which traffic the great majority of victims. Traffickers see their victims as commodities without regard for human dignity and rights. They sell fellow human beings for a price that can range from tens of US dollars to tens of thousands. Traffickers have integrated technology into their business at every stage of progress, from recruiting to exploiting victims. Where does it say that? How does COVID affect this? The share of children among detected trafficking victims has tripled, but the share of boys has increased 5 times in the past 15 years. Girls are mainly trafficked for sexual exploitation, while boys are used for forced labor, according to the Global Report on Trafficking in Persons launched by the United Nations. So this is apparently, from what this reads to me, this is a trend that has been on an upward rise for the past 15 years. It's been going up for a while. So to do like hey, this is a Joe Biden problem, like, no, not really. Not really. This is a problem that's existed for a while. But let's look at the video, because he says that the woman's demon possessed. And this is where I want to get into the crux of my issue. But let's go ahead.
Okay. Put your feet in.
Ma'am, put your feet in so we can close the doors.
She looks dejected, more than likely because she got caught. She is.
Okay. I'm just gonna close the door. You stay right there before we move. Hey, calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Back up. Back up. Back up. Hold on. Hey, get your foot back in there. Get your foot back in there. Get your foot back in there. Ma'am. Ma'am, we're going to have to tase you. You're not going to like that.
I don't understand what you're telling me.
Put your feet back in there. Bro. We're going to have to secure in a different vehicle. Ma'am.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get a couple things out of the way first. For people who are saying that they think it's staged, let's go ahead and go to a different Twitter where the original report actually is. Like, U.S. Border Patrol tells me this woman was arrested for human smuggling in Carrizo Springs last week. Human smuggling cases have spiked dramatically over the last year across the southern border. So, I do not believe this is staged, but there's a couple of things here. Like, yes, obviously, the woman could be going for an insanity plea. Like, that's a thing they could be doing. And is a very likely thing. There's, if you've ever seen, I don't remember what they're called, but the videos where you get to see how people who have been accosted, people who have been arrested, act inside the interview booth, both before and after, like they think people are watching them. This could be that. More likely, though, it could be that. It could be that this is somebody who actually does have mental health issues. We don't know. We have no way of verifying that until we see what happens with this case going forward. But the crux of my issue, the thing that I want to talk about, and the reason that I had this video in the first place is something that I wanted to bring up. There is this idea that if somebody has, say, schizophrenia or some level of insanity on that spectrum, or they happen to be autistic and have an episode, there is this strange proclivity, especially down here in the South, to ascribe supernatural causes to this stuff and dismiss any legitimate medical issues that could be there, any legitimate mental health problems that could be faced by an individual. Do I think this particular individual has mental health issues? I don't know. This could be an act. I don't have that kind of information to verify. That's going to take a professional to do. I'm not going to armchair psychology my way through this. But in general, there's a proclivity to take depression, to take depression and argue that it's a battle with Satan, to take an episode, depending on the particular psychosis that somebody has, and argue that no, that was a demon possession. You had a demon in you. Like, this is a not uncommon belief down here, and it is insane. I know that's a really awkward word to use here, but it's insane how many people buy into this. No, this is not evidence that somebody is demon possessed. Gentlefish, thank you very much for the resubscription. This is not evidence that somebody is demon possessed. This is not evidence of any of that. This is evidence that somebody is either trying to get an insanity plea or that somebody needs help. But the idea, moreover, that this can of mental health can constantly be kicked down the road. Oh, Satan did it. Oh, Satan did it. Oh, Satan did it. I don't know why it's such a huge thing here, but especially here in the States, and very, very especially here in the South, we dismiss legitimate mental health stuff all the fucking time. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with this case, to see if we are right on if this is an insanity plea thing or otherwise, but I'm more interested right now in the larger conversation there. Though the other large conversation that needs to be had is one about worsening trends in human trafficking. We do need to find solutions where human trafficking is concerned, and just throwing up a giant border wall, we already know that's not going to work here. Throwing blame at Joe Biden for increased rate in human trafficking, I don't see where that blame necessarily can actually be held. If somebody has an example that they can show me, then that would be one thing. That would be one thing. There are other examples of this thing where people get caught by the police and they decide that they're going to be possessed by the devil at that moment. Like,
Ilumíname, 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 ilumíname.
like, this is not an uncommon thing. It's not an uncommon thing for people to get caught by the police and then, with their terrible understanding of how mental health works, try to be this, what's the best word for it? They take the idea of what they think somebody who's insane looks like, and they try to LARP that as a way to protecting themselves. So those are all noises people can just make. Yep. Those are all noises people can just make in general. But even going through the stuff on Twitter, going through the comments about this on Twitter, there's other people who were like, should they have called animal control or an exorcist? Neither. This is a human being still. But, I don't know, there's a larger conversation where mental health is concerned here. If you've ever had this happen where there's a legitimate issue with your mental faculties that has just been dismissed because it could be a demon, or it could be it could be just God's giving you his harder battles, or any of that shit. If that's a thing that has happened with you, let me know in the comment section below. I know that that's not the most healthy place to vent about that kind of shit, but this is an all but normal occurrence where I am. Not people snapping their shit on police officers, though, that one as well, but the can kicking, that one. We'll see what happens with this. As always, if you enjoyed this segment, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you haven't already. If you want to support the channel and what I do, hop down there. There's links to my Patreon and other areas where you can help the channel as well. As always, everyone, insert end of video tagline here.